Раз, два, три. О, раз, два, три, четыре. Раз, два, три, четыре, пять, шесть, семь, восемь. Но, по идее, ты все равно должен слышать. Раз, два, три, четыре, пять, шесть, семь, восемь, девять, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Please seated, and we are starting the second round now, please. Are we ready? All right. Thank you very much. And we are moving to the second round, which is about journalism education and youth cooperation in Russia and Africa. I guess some of the questions we had asked earlier about those cooperation, it will be. Don't worry. Let's quickly finish with this. Then we will have the discussion together. So now we're going to have this, and we have online and offline participants. We already have those who have submitted their topics here, and we also have those who have their topics online. So I will extend this to my colleague Natalia, who is going to lead in this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Dear guests, I would like to introduce you with the welcome speech, another representative of the Ministry of Higher Education of the Russian Federation, Mr. Dmitry Pokrovsky, who is the Director of the Department of State Youth Policy and Educational Activities.
Добрый день, коллеги, друзья. Рад приветствовать всех.
This really great and significant event. I'd like to say that today youth policy and education is attached a lot of importance here in Russia because the target of all the university is not only to train a great professional who will be good doing their job afterward, but that this graduate is the citizen of their country, respects it, and is ready to help the motherland, so to be active patriot. So we're attaching a lot of importance to youth projects, young people, tourism is part of it, which helps to enhance mobility in the country and around the country. Volunteers will also train, but our forum today is about media, and I would like to highlight it a bit more. In the majority of Russian universities, we have students' media centers which deal with content and sharing information, what is happening in the country, at the university, and just all kinds of information which could be useful for the students. I would like to stress one thing. Today, we understand where young people get information, not from the TV, not from the news, but in the social media, on the internet, and on other up-to-date sources of information. Thus, we conducted an investigation which showed that the adults, young people respect today, trust today, are not their parents, not their university professors, but senior students, university students as they are, but a bit older than they, which are who are more in the environment of the university, who know a bit more. So it's especially important to share information correctly. From the seniors to the juniors at the university. So quite often we have supervisors, senior students for the freshmen who support them, who explain a lot of things to them, and who refer in the correct information to them. So these people, the senior university students, are often the actors of our media centers. They are bloggers inside the university, and they are active in creating media content at the university. One more thing. Today, there is a lot of disinformation as well as fake news regarding different events which are going on in different world countries. And the victims of the impact of this false information are young people. Some people think that they're not mature, they are more emotional, and they're supposed to consume different kinds of information easier. So we have a lot of wrong content addressed to young people. So we are sure it's important to attach importance to the fact that people in the environment share correct information. Thus, we support people who at the university want to create the right content, who want to share information, who want to be the opinion leaders in the students' communities.
Поэтому мы рады, что у нас
Thus, we're
сегодня проходит
happy
такой форум,
that
на котором
we are
собралось
hosting this
большое
forum today.
количество
It's great that we have a lot of
дружественных нам
representatives of
стран. Уверен, что, вернувшись к себе домой, вы тоже сможете рассказать своим друзьям, молодым людям в ваших странах о том, что вы видели в России, о том, о чем вы здесь узнали, о том, что многие стереотипы о нашей стране, они неверны, о нашем гостеприимстве и о том, как на самом деле обстоят дела здесь, у нас в России. Как мы говорим, много ходит разных по этому поводу слухов, начиная от того, что у нас медведи по улицам ходят, заканчивая тем, что у нас тут военное положение и вообще страшно выходить на улицу. И то,
cut because this is the only thing we know. Many people from the African continent feel that the point of view transferred by the vast majority of mass media doubt it is right. They ask for other points of view. And this is important that it's in demand to have different angles and different points of view so that the readers select and choose how they see the problem or issue. They don't want mass media just to take the information and to put it in their mind. They want to make their conclusions themselves. Here, it's vital if a reporter on Russia and Africa knows Africa and knows Russia. Also, we've noticed some gaps today about what we know about Africa and countries of Africa. Very often people know some basic information, but we're trying to go deeper, sharing more historical, cultural issues, and this is in demand because this is not common in media today. We're trying to go deeper, and this is important working with the agenda. This is what we face very often. We need to be diplomats because in Africa, there are a lot of countries, each having its own history. We need to realize that the approach of English-speaking or French-speaking speakers and reporters will be different. And it's interesting because all the time you need to study more the country, the problems and challenges and the cultural issues. But it's a great advantage because every day is not like the previous one. You meet new people you would have never met otherwise from different areas because we cover everything from culture, politics to sports events. I'm sorry, I will finish. Thank you. So, the major features of journalists are as those. Speaking about Sputnik Africa, we have a website, we have a radio, we have social media. We are actively sharing information about all countries of Africa, and they're looking for not just journalists, but people who could be more than journalists, kind of mediators who would share more to Russia about Africa and vice versa, more information about Russia to African countries, because our colleagues, our experts from Africa said they're lacking in information, deeper information from Russia. So what we need is, again, more than just a journalist. Thank you.
For that, I think now we will be moving to we'll call one of our participants here. We have Fomo Fabian, Republic of Cameroon. Futures of African Media Markets, the view of the practitioners. Ready?
I'm ready, sir.
3-4 minutes, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Greetings to all. Thank you for you will agree in me that in the late 1950s and early 1960s, there was the fight for African independence, and Cameroon was part of those countries who were fighting to have their independence from the Western countries. There was a group of politicians and freedom fighters in Cameroon led by the late Umnyobe and Ernest Nwandi. And in the early 1960s, these politicians were assassinated because they were accused to have links with communism, with the Russian communism. And from this date, many Cameroonian journalists, it was like a message from the government and those who were behind this assassination. It was like a direct message to journalists and every freedom fighter that if you report anything related to Russia, this is the same treatment that will be accorded to you. So 60 years down the line, we still have this, many journalists still have this fear. And how do we counter this threat to journalistic freedom? It is giving the journalist the protection that he needs to report in an environment that is that cruel. Away from that, I'm going to, my second point will be the lack of Russian global media outlets in Cameroon, especially in the two major cities of Yaoundé and Douala. Unlike the Western counterpart, they have offices in both Yaoundé and Douala, but I don't even, I'm not aware of any Russian media outlet that has an office in Cameroon. So this is a big gap, and this gap has to be filled. I don't know, the lady said there's a Russian media, but I've never seen it in Cameroon. It is not, no Russian media is popular in Cameroon. And in addition to that, I'll be talking on the partnerships between Cameroonian and Russian media outlets. Unlike the BBC, the RFI from France, and the Voice of America, who have special partnerships with Cameroonian media outlets, there is no Russian media outlet that has partnership with Cameroonian media. And you know, the people, the population believe more in their local media. So if you have partnership with them that you curate programs and send to them and they play they air those programs, they will feel closer. They will feel close to Russia and to what is happening in Russia. And the next is lack of advertisement from Russian companies. You know, if you control the stomach, you control the mind. I think we understand that. And the welfare of the journalists, this is a very important point to me, who have worked in with the public media in Cameroon and private media, and have seen how media practitioners are being treated in Cameroon. I think the journalist is the main person that every discussion that we sit on the table, at the end of the day, the journalist will be the one to disseminate the information. So his welfare, his or her welfare must be catered for, must be the first consideration in every discussion. And again, thank you. At the level of journalist students, most of them, or the majority of them, receive grants and scholarship opportunities from Western countries. And you don't expect these people, when they travel out there and they come back to their countries with the grants given to them by Western countries, I expect them to report in the favor of a different bloc. So I will conclude on these due to time constraints. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I think on this note, thank you for that contribution. It's quite interesting and notable. I guess we have some media houses here who are ready for the business. So the next person will be Ginger Ndebele, South Africa. Points of interaction between university, collaboration and cooperation amongst Russian and African higher education institutions. Ready?
Hello. I'd like to start from taking a quote from Patrice Lumumba's speech at the ceremony of Proclamation of Congo's independence, June 30th, 1960. We have seen our land seized in the name of ostensibly just laws, which gave recognition only to the right of might. Furthermore, we shall see it that the lands of our native country truly benefit its children. We shall stop the persecution of free thought. We shall see to it that all citizens enjoy to the fullest extent the basic freedoms provided by the Declaration of the Human Rights. Our world and its intercontinental relationships are being consumed by superior powers and their narratives, whereby the geopolitics dominates international economies and societies. Thus, I plead moving onward that we do not ignore the power dynamic between Russia and African economies and countries. I express my opinions as a student, and they are my opinions alone. South African universities are in need of reflection and augmentation. Though we have created impressive and ambitious policy framework that does not speak for the reality faced by our youth in our higher education institutions. Our youth are not able to afford to extend their education, whereas there's a 50 to 60% dropout rate in their first year. Our skills are mismatched with the demand that is needed. And I'd like to emphasize my point that with regards to African and Russian collaboration in universities, there is distinctive situations and circumstances to Africa and their countries. But what remains that is universal is providing opportunities which will be granting a better prospect for greater cultural and educational and scientific exchange. What is needed for that exchange? Although it is honorable, it is needed to be open, it is needed to be transparent. It needs to be catering to policies that are effective to the unique circumstances of each African economy and country. I'd like to take from a letter of intent of one of the forums that are going to be discussed in St. Petersburg. It is the letter of intent for the establishment of the Community of Technical Universities of Africa, the subsoil of Africa, where its commitments mirror that of this forum, where it contributes to peace and security by promoting educational and scientific and cultural exchange. Let the power that we give our students and our youth be their voice. They are the pioneers. We have seen in history that they create the initiatives, and we are able to create those initiatives if the policies are working, if there's action taken, if there's action that is committed to being done. Change and creation is important to take, change and creation are important to take into consideration when we think of these policies. And for that, I would like to close my discussion. I would like to say that we need policies that not only benefit the stakeholders, but benefit those around us, that benefit those that are participating, that benefit the youth that are participating in it, the economies that are participating in it, the countries that are participating in it. We need to leverage, we need to be of equal stance. We need our independence, and we need our sovereignty to make this work, to make it beneficial to all participating stakeholders. I would like to thank you for the opportunity that you've given me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, because we really extremely need these opportunities to find new ways to go to the better future than we have and then we could even plan. Let me give the floor to our next speaker. Could you please tell me whether our prof from Nigeria was able to join us or not? Not yet. Okay. So in that case, I would like to give a floor to the representative of the Belgrade State National Research University. It is the very nice city not far from Moscow, about, I think, 400 kilometers. His name is Ba Amadou. He is a PhD student, and he represents both countries, Mali and Russian Federation.
Добрый день, уважаемые коллеги. Меня зовут
And
Бам.
he spent a lot of time in Russia already, so he can speak Russian. Thank you very much.
Меня зовут Бамаду, я из Мали. Я аспирант второго курса БГУ. И я служу пресс-офицером. Я хочу отметить, что
I would like to highlight that I feel here at home because I'm a graduate of philological department of Ruden University, and also I played Kavin. It's a comedy game on TV, and I supported Ruden University. So I would like to speak about education in the Republic of Mali, history and prospects. In the epoch of information, any society is becoming part of it. Media and media education is becoming one of the most important issues because it aims at giving to people skills important to understand media, printed papers, TV or internet. The government of Mali, in collaboration with NGOs and international partners, several years ago started to implement projects on collaboration in media. Parallelly, initiatives were taken to training and education of journalists and mass media workers, especially in 2017 in the High School of Journalism and Communication Scientists. It was created, and its aim was primary and also long education in journalism, communication scientists, also postgraduate training of communication specialists, expertise, and other activities. This is the school which launches trainings helping journalists to be ethical and independent in journalists, guaranteeing that they play the key role and sharing precise and balanced information. Despite these achievements, still there are problems we need to solve. The access to education, media education, is not for everyone, especially in remote rural areas. So it's limited. Also, fake news have become a problem in informational environment of Mali and in other countries too. In media education of the Republic of Mali, we have and we face positive changes. Still, a lot should be done too. Investing more in this area, Mali can guarantee that its citizens will be well informed, will be able to decipher some information by mass media, and being important for the democracy of their country. Media education is really vital for democratic society development. And this is the aim of Mali. For Mali, it's especially important for different reasons. Number one, democracy and civil participation, combating disinformation, and also supporting diversity and pluralism. And number four, development of digital skills. So to promote digital education in Mali, training courses should be worked out, as well as educational training courses for teachers. Also, it's important to work in collaboration with mass media, the civil society, and international institutions, promoting freedom of and accessibility and flexibility of mass media. Speaking about the prospects and initiatives in this area, well, and may change with time, so it's important to consult the local mass media and with those from different countries to receive the relevant information about the current events and the effort in this media education Mali. Dear friends, I'm sure we'll find the same language to improve this kind of media education Mali. Thank you.
Much for that. And let's welcome one of our participants here, Nurhan Ahmed Abu Al Fatouh from Cairo University Center for Political Studies. So she'll be talking about education and youth in Africa and Russia, right? 3-4 minutes, please.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Let me introduce myself. I'm Nurhan Abul Futuh, Assistant Manager of Al Hawar Center for Political and Media Studies in Egypt. And I'm also Editorial Secretary for the annual Russian report, which is publishing in Egypt. Firstly, I want to thank the organizer of this such important conference. Thank you so much. Let me get into my point. As education considered one of the most important area for enhancing mutual understanding between Russia and Egypt. I know as Russia have a great institution, has a great educational institutions. We also have some university cooperation in Egypt. We have an Egyptian-Russian university, which is launched at 2006. We have some types of cooperation in educational field, like mutual visit on the official level. I think last one was in last May. It was by Russian Deputy Minister of Science and Higher Education. He visited Egypt. But from my experience in the research field and the education field, we have some challenge in this cooperation. Despite those visits and this official cooperation, we noted that this cooperation is almost limited to the scientific subjects or the scientific material, just like space, medicine, or nuclear physics. So it's really when we focus education on media cooperation. Despite Russia and Egypt have many great organizations and institutions like Russia Today, that, or Sputnik, but we don't have enough expert in exchange in this field. So we have a second challenge. In my institute, when I'm preparing for the Russian annual report, it's difficult to find a researcher specializing in Russia. Since we are in Egypt more than 1 million people, it doesn't make sense that not more 5 person is specializing in Russia. So I think we have to avoid these challenges. To improve this educational cooperation, I think think tanks is playing a pilot role in this cooperations. So I'm happy to be here. So we have to increase this same and this type of conferences and forum, not just in Russia and also in Egypt. So it comes with the cooperation between the think tanks or the university in Russia and Egypt. And we have to increase the scholarship about media, focusing in media, not just as a scientific subject. I don't want to prolong you, but I want we have to do more effort to raise the cooperation between Egypt and Russia, to raise it as the size and the historical relation between Russia and Egypt. I think it will complete 80 years next month. And this occasion, we are organizing in Egypt a conference about Russia and Egypt, 80 years of strategic relations. So we are also have a problem. I think I don't repeat what my colleagues mentioned, but we have a challenge that um, almost all of researcher is depending on European references in their researcher. So we have to increase the writers or to exchange an expert from Russia in Egypt, and not only Egypt, and Africa also. So in this occasion, I'd like to invite anyone interested in Russia to write in our publication in Egypt to convey the view of Russia, to convey the right information, the fact information about Russia, not to depend on European or English reference only. And I want to thank you again. Thank you.
Dean Orhan, thank you very much. I can say that everything is in our hands, and we are here in Russia, do a lot of research, not only considering the Russian case, but also analyzing the cases of different countries and different regions of the world, as we have students from many countries. And for instance, Bahamadou was talking about the media literacy in Mali. I can say that our PhD students are also doing this kind of research in case of Indonesia, in case of Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and many other countries. And of course, we have very strong relationships between our countries. And I think that if we will find this common ground to organize something, maybe small from the very beginning, and then just go step by step, it will grow in really great cooperation and good friendship. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you very much for the comment. And the next person will be Njama Paul, Challenges of Russian and African Media Education. Njama Paul?
It's Najma.
3 to 4 minutes, please.
Thank you. Greetings, everybody. My name is Najma Paul. It's well. From Tanzania, representing United Republic of Tanzania. And I'm delighted to be here, as in it's my first time to be in Russia, and it's truly an exposure. First of all, I would love to start with the point that I'm assigned to, journalism education in Russia and Africa, trends, market demands, and forms of interaction, which are based on challenges of Russian and African media education. For me, accordingly to my experience, first of all, I really didn't want to go with ethics and basis, but I really wanted to go with experience since it's my first time. So I wanted to see it for myself and know how I will flow with it. Starting with the forms of interaction, language barrier is one of a major challenge that I believe it can be solved. As I understand, we are all very, very so proud of our languages, but as journalists, language is our big joint, yes. And I just heard Julia saying that we should be more than just journalists. So we should just get our hands dirty and get ready to go do more and more research and ask for cooperation from other countries, not just collecting data from social media, because apparently we get, I've heard a lot of different and not so true news about Russia, and everybody was asking me how it is here, are you safe and all that, but I'm like, can't you see my pictures on social media? I'm fine. I'm enjoying, everything is okay. So we still have very negative information out there. But also concerning trends, the failure of not getting cooperation from government leaders and also informers of both Russian and Africa, this leads us to only get misinformation full of negative and non-productive, for example, the issue of Russia-Ukraine. And it's still negative. People think like Russia is not safe, and they actually don't see the other side, that Russia is a very beautiful place where you can discover so many things, and there are actually very strong and powerful opportunities that you can discover here. You can even make a living here, and everything. The people are beautiful, are calm, and great hospitality. But the only thing people think in their heads is Russia, Ukraine, and they keep Russia into the mud. But it's not true. So it has been popular, but in a very negative way. But also, I would like to congratulate the RUDNI for what they have done, for what they have been doing. I've been hearing the presentations concerning the research that they have been doing, but From here, I can actually say you shouldn't be doing the research alone. Let's collaborate. Like it's high time that we have Russia researchers and journalists visiting Tanzania physically to come and learn the reality of what's going on there, and journalists from Tanzania to come visit Russia and learn what's the reality from here. Because I've also noticed from asking from other people, I've noticed that not so many Tanzanians come here to make partnership and friendship with Russia. They just come here maybe to look for business, do business and go, but they don't want to interact with them. And it keeps on raising the stigma, but we are supposed to break that barrier. Yeah. And lastly, I would like to challenge my fellow Africans to work on this kind of partnership as how our friends are doing, because they have encouraged us by doing these such forums, inviting us all the way from far. We are coming from different African countries and we're here. But I don't really remember the last time we Africans did something for them, like invite them in our countries for such forums. I think it's high time we prepare something for these people, for them to come and see and learn from us too, like host them exactly from how they have hosted us. So let's be active and professional upfront to find seats on the table, just like how we have made it today. Thank you so much.
Dear Najmas, thank you very much.
I am very glad that the family name Toby is again at the university, because many years ago I had a graduator, Frederick Toby. And so if you know him or if you meet him, our greetings.
Yes, apparently my Frederick is my uncle, and yeah, and Toby is my father. So they were both here last, I don't know how many years back.
The world is very tight.
Okay, thank you very much. And now we would like to give a floor to our colleague from the very far city from Moscow, to Associate Professor Anna Krasavina, who represents the South Ural State University. And he will share their experience on teaching journalism and on VR journalism in their university. Anna, hello, nice to meet you.
Hello. Thank you very much for inviting me. Is it okay with the sound?
It's good. Thank you.
Thank you. I will share my screen to show the presentation. Is it okay?
Yes, it's okay and it's clear. Please be mindful of the time that we have 5 minutes presentation, please.
Okay. Thank you very much again. I would like to share our experience with VR virtual reality, and I think that it could be one of the points of interaction between Russia and Africa universities. And I would like to tell about our experience of South Ural State University, and in particular the Department of Journalism, Advertising and Public Relations. Well, here in the slides, I would like to present few main basic ideas of VR. And I think that this could be a point of possible interaction, because we have International VR Research Laboratory, which has become a place where new opportunities for creating content in digital environment is being studied. And on these slides, you can see the main theses that are important for understanding VR format and VR journalism. And we are making few researches in this area. But of course, the main topic is our master program, which could be, I think, interesting for international students and, of course, students from Africa. We pay attention to the study of changes in consumption of media content and its production technologies, since the problem of interaction with the audience is relevant for journalism. And of course, the process of creating VR projects by our students, master students, which study new VR media format, is very interesting, I think. And since 2019, we have our VR lab at the university, where students can create their own VR projects. And I would like to show a few of them on the slides. Sorry. Well, I think that's I'm sorry, because I think that my I'm sorry, because yeah, I would like to show the slides.
No,
Here
we
is
can
the
see your presentation again.
okay, great.
And you have about
Here is
1 minute more, I think. I'm sorry.
yeah, okay. Here is VR projects of our master students. I wouldn't tell a lot about them, but I have one special mention about our master student from Ethiopia, Haile Bizarre Modesta. She also made her own VR project about her friends from South Ural State University. You can see on the slide, and I should say that she is a really good student, successful student, and we will be ready to and happy to invite students to South Ural State University, of course, from Africa, and we would like to show that it is possible, and a lot of students are studying at the South Ural State University. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, I will finish my
All right, no problem.
presenting of screen. Yeah, okay. And
all right, thank you very much.
Thank you very
Our
much.
next speaker is our colleague from Kaduna State University, Nigeria, Professor Ayodele Joseph, the Dean and Faculty of Communication and Media Studies. So, Professor Ayodele, please, you've got 5 minutes maximum, please. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thank you very much, Mr. Mustafa, and thank you very much to the organizers for the effort you are making to have a strong bond between Africa and Russia. Well, I want to start on this note by saying, well, from my own end, as far as Kaduna State University is concerned, we have done a lot as far as education is concerned, journalism education. But unfortunately, I don't have a slide here, but there's some very crucial points I would like to bring up concerning our relationship as far as education is concerned with Russia. Before now, people have always had this suspicion concerning having a relationship with Russia, because there's this phobia people have that how safe am I when I relate with your country? For example, when people had different impression with what is happening between Russia and Ukraine, with the propaganda going on out there, there is this fear people have going to having a bond with Russia, let alone say we want to go and study. But after the interaction we had with the University of Reading, and we are about signing an MOU, our mindset has changed. And my university is seriously prepared to have a bond with you, especially concerning the MOU that captures the fact that some of our programs can be of exchange, because there are many opportunities you have out there that we don't have in this part of the world. Frankly speaking, you'll agree with me that in terms of facility and opportunities, We don't have it. And my university is eagerly waiting to have a bond with you because of what we have to benefit from you. But my major concern is how do we correct the impression, the phobia people have about Russia, about that country? Yeah, sometimes people ask, when you enter that bond with your country, how sure are you that you are safe? Because we've had so much information about Russia that there's no freedom of information, and even when you go there, the Russians are not friendly. The Russians don't are not accommodating, and this is a source of concern to many Africans and not only Nigeria. But after the interaction we had with Professor Musti and his colleague, we begin to have a different mindset concerning Russia and in particular your university. So moving forward, I think I will advise that there should be serious effort by the Russian government as well as what your university is doing to correct this mindset people have. Africans want to come to your university. Students of my university want to interact. Lecturers want to have that exchange with your university. But that misconception people have about Russia needs to be changed. So there should be a voracious approach. There should be a deliberate effort from your end to reach out to African countries. Go to the interland, go to this university and let them know that, look, Russia is not what people think Russia is. Russia is accommodating. Russia is not a country that does not receive other people. The opportunities are there. People can come and do a collaboration with us. If this is done, I think Africans have a lot to benefit from you. We know that Russians have it. The University of Britain has all these facilities. But my major concern, and as well as the many African countries, is the mindset, the perception people have about Russia as a country that is not receptive, as a country that is not friendly. But I believe if efforts are made, deliberate efforts are made, like what you are doing now, the limit to which we can relate and has no bond. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Yodili, with that contribution. We appreciate your time. Now we will have our next speaker among our participants. We'll still appreciate if you can still stay back because we have a discussion after this. So we have the next speaker is Diane. No, not Diane. Next. The next person is Boso Kwasi. No? Okay. No, Adebayo Babatunde is the next. Adebayo Babatunde from Nigeria. Challenges of media education and scholarship in Nigeria, considering Russo-Nigerian panacea. Over to you. 4 minutes maximum. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. When it comes to media education in Nigeria, we have universities and polytechnics that offer media education. We have about 45 universities right now. Some, the Department of Mass Communication or Media Studies have been, the accreditation has been revoked. So we have less than what we used to have now. But we have about 64 polytechnics that offer that. But it's not the number that matters. It's the quality of the media education that the student can get from these universities that actually matters. And with regards to that, the quality has been declining over the years. And this is very concerning because when students who will probably be in the nearest future be the media specialists, the media professionals, do not get the quality education that should equip them to perform optimally in the future, then there is a big problem. If we are complaining about the professionalism among journalists in Nigeria right now, and the ones that are still in training in school are not getting what they are supposed to get, that means then we have no hope. So this is a serious problem. Then, apart from that, apart from the quality issue, there is also the aspect of lack of funding. Media education in Nigeria lacks funding, seriously. Seriously, a lot of Department of Mass Communication in the country does not even have studios to train their broadcast students. So I don't know how the students can be adequately equipped to function optimally when they graduate in those kind of environments. So there are also issues of lack of knowledge of modern tools and ways of practicing journalism as well. There are also issues of the lack of modern facilities itself, not just the know-how of handling the facilities, but even the facilities are not there. But let me quickly go to the aspect of scholarship, which here means I mean scholarship in the aspect of formal research. From students to the lecturers themselves, the academics, most academics in Nigeria find themselves in the field as a result of trying to meet ends meet, not because they are actually interested in scholarship. So it's a big problem when people who should be pioneers, who should be pushing the field, who should be setting the pace, are actually not interested in research. So these problem is also reflecting on the students. Students have very terrible attitude to research. You research when you give them, I'm a graduate assistant at a private university, and I know how students react whenever I give them simple research-oriented assignments. They feel as though I'm making their life difficult. So this attitude is a very serious problem that that needs to be taken care of. So and the lecturers as well, the academics that don't have good attitude towards research, particularly impactful research. There's since the system in Nigeria, it's either you publish or you perish. They just look for ways of just patching some things together to publish anywhere so that they can get promoted. They don't do research for the purpose of making impact on the society. So we really need to deal with this. Now, this is where the Russian and Nigerian collaboration on the media education arm comes in different ways in the aspect. So this collaboration that I'm talking about will be multi-layered, and it will be multi-stakeholder collaboration, from media scholars to reporters to the media owners themselves to universities, NGOs, and even the audience and the media user. It should be a multi-layered kind of collaboration, so that right from the training of not just the students, but the academics who will be training them, Russia, through their experience and the expertise that we have here and the tools and facilities that we have here, can help to create a better situation in the Nigerian media education and education landscape. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for your contribution. And here, now let's have our participant, Diane Cablanca, right? Cote d'Ivoire. Is it French or English? French. So please, let's switch on our... Thank you very much, Diane. Diane will be talking about challenges of Russian and African media education.
Particulièrement, mais très cher. Alors, en tant que journaliste, nous sommes tous...
We understand that our work depends on the way we are prepared for this work. And we need to admit that each region has its own unique features. And in the Russian context, we need to adjust educational programs, the curriculums, so they meet the technological needs, and we need to follow the journalist ethics. And in Africa, for example, we've got multiple cultural differences, different educational approaches depending on a specific country or nation, and we have different realities and we have different challenges, significant challenges for the media education in different African regions. Also, we can develop innovative educational programs in the area of journalism, and we can meet the challenges considering the difference in cultural identity. What we need to do is we need to share opinions and we need to establish close partnership relationships. And I'm positive that our today's discussion will help us promote and develop journalism further, both in Africa and in Russia.
And now it's time for discussion. At least now we have a. Yes, that's discussion. Yes, discussion. Yes, you will have your time.
Remember.
We remember. You have your time. I just need to set the tone for us to know how many minutes we have, and for your contribution, how many minutes you have. We want to make sure that we all have our contribution one way or the other. We still have 30 minutes. And this 30 minutes, if we are fast in our submission, almost everyone in this room can have their chance. So if you want to speak even in Russian, please, feel free. In Arabic, feel free. In French, but unfortunately, we have only 3 working languages: English, French, and English, French, and Russian language. For this one, working language. I'm sorry. So Swahili in our next forum. Yes. All right. So less than a minute for a submission. I'll be throwing question. Be fast in raising your hand, or I may, talk to someone. I may ask someone to contribute if they are ready. So I'll throw the question, then be fast in responding to it. Less than a minute for one person. Let's manage it and let everyone have their voice here. So let's start with your own quick one, less than a minute. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Mutesi Skovia. I'm from Rwanda. But I don't have a question, just a suggestion. Collaborate in media Africa and Russia. Me, I'm manager, director, TV, and my founder. But now I suggestion, why can you collaborate any journalist in Russia to just write one story per month? It's because now my country is saying Russia is not security, but fighting. But now it's not any fighting, but just a suggestion. But I have just one. Me, I'm not speak English or French very well, but I'm speak in local language because me, I'm survived genocide in Tutsi, Rwanda. My father is a professor of University of Rwanda before genocide. But genocide, my father, you kill any security just university. But I'm not like to go school because, yeah, challenge. But I think school it's not better because my father is killing it just security in the university. But now I can start reading English and French. Thank you so much. I'm sorry because this is story.
No, it's part of it. Thank you very much for your contribution. We appreciate it. So now I'll be throwing my question. Are we ready? And I need us to be very fast with it. So we are going with the first. We'll be looking at the futures of African markets, the view of the practitioners. Most of you are practitioners here. So let's look at this. What are the main challenges faced by African media practitioners in terms of market demands and audience preferences? So anyone, if you're ready to contribute, anyone, please. What are the main challenges faced by African media practitioners? Challenges that African media practitioners are facing in terms of market demands and audience preferences. Those who are into mass media knows we're talking about use and gratifications, and some other areas here. Ready? Please, quick. All right, all right.
I think the major challenge.
Less than a minute.
The major challenge currently it's citizen journalism and online media. For print newspapers, you really have to have investigative journalists so that your print media can survive. But then it's very difficult to have investigative journalists because it's costly and media houses don't really have money to pay that. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Ok.
Yes, Mr. Musti.
Moi, je voudrais être pratique. Comme il a dit d'être pratique, je voudrais qu'on soit pratique. Et dans le cadre des relations entre la Russie et l'Afrique, il faut être aussi pratique. Je prends un exemple. Parce que nous sommes journalistes. Mais de quoi nous parlons? Mais nous parlons des faits de société et de ce qui se passe autour de nous.
Discuss what is going around us. And that is why the example I would like to bring about regarding marketing is political marketing. In my country, in Cote d'Ivoire, many years ago, an American hospital was launched. The staff is American there, of those who live in Burkina Faso, and our people come there to be treated. They come from the north of the country, from the south of the country, everyone comes there. Clearly, this structure has a large impact on the population. What will journalists do? They will speak what happens, what really is. Just imagine for 1 second, on the west coast of Cote d'Ivoire, what if Russia makes a similar hospital? Libya is there, Liberia is there, Sierra Leone is there, quite on the border of our countries. So this hospital will help people from 4 countries at the same time. So thus, Russia will be able, on a daily basis, have an impact on our relation to it and on our relationship. And we as journalists are ready to promote projects like this.
Adapting to the fast-changing nature of our technology, especially its influence in your field.
Thank you. I'm Brandon Mazumba from Zimbabwe. I'd like to say, because of the lack of Wi-Fi in some of the areas, because Africa, as you know, is still developing. So it is really hard for Africans to extract news from different areas, especially where there is no network connection. You'd have, for example, to travel, somewhere far, somewhere remote, where you can't actually have connection to get information. For example, in Zimbabwe, 2019, there was Cyclone Idai at that time. And it was really hard for people or journalists to extract news from those areas because the flooding was happening between the border of Zimbabwe and Mozambique. So for you to get news from that side where there is no network connection, it was really hard. So right now, the challenges are that network connection is really hard. Also accessibility to those areas in some of the places who admit there is no proper road transport system for journalists to actually go to some of those areas and find those people and extract news. So those are some of the challenges that they are finding in terms of digital media, and also fact checking that information as well. It is really hard. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Najma. Najma. Okay.
Okay.
Quick one, please.
Thank you. First, the internet. Second, don't policy protect the story or information. Third, it's government. It's not like journalists repeat, hurry up. It's a repeat. Just it's needed to slow by slow. It's a good journalist of government. Thank you.
Thank you, Najma.
Sorry. Okay. For me, I think it's quietly the same point, because I work with a youth media. I work with East Africa TV, and I host a women empowerment talk show, which is broadcasted every day from Monday to Friday. I'm live. So we actually are coping so well with social media achievements. But the point is exactly Wi-Fi issue at the office, and we can't access right information so quickly. But also we are being limited into publishing the right information, especially on social media, because in Tanzania we have TCRA, and they are very, very active when it comes to information that we publish. Immediately you do something that is out of law, you will either they will lock your TV, or maybe they will stop you from doing it anymore. So we are limited, and sometimes we really want to cope with social media picking up, but the government is actually kind of limiting us.
Thank you very much. Quick.
In my country, Cameroon, how journalists are adapting to the digital journalism today. Most journalists make sure their programs are broadcast on the Facebook or YouTube, but to an extent, due to poor network connection, most media would not be able to post most of these large or big programs on the social media or YouTube. And one of the challenges that journalists are facing is the rising of a particular set of people. We call them lancers d'alerte. They are the ones today who give the scoop about information everywhere before the real information reaches the real journalists, trend journalists. These people had published it already, and there is this misinformation already. For a real journalist to come after and post the real information, the population will be doubting instead the trend journalist.
Okay, thank you very much. This next question, I will also like yes, thank you, Julia. Julia is here, and some other Russian practitioners. If you're here, I'll appreciate it if you can respond to that, or if you are practicing in the Russian media and media outlets. We'll appreciate if you also contribute to this, not only for the Africans one. So the question is this: what are the key differences? At least if you're a Russian practitioners, you've listened to some challenges the African says they are facing. So this question is like this: what are the key differences in journalism education between Russia and African countries? How do they impact the quality of journalism training? Should I come again? Okay. What are the key differences in the journalism? And we also have journalism professors here. They can also respond to that, be it in Russian language or in English language. What are the key differences in the journalism education system between Russia and African countries? And how do they impact the quality of journalism training? A bit. Okay, the time is ready to.
It's a very tricky question, because to answer on it, we should first of all compare educational approaches in Russia and in very exact African countries.
Now we talk about the education in Nigeria.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
another person talk about education in Cameroon or somewhere.
Yeah, I think that there was a kind of a glance. I can give you just a glance of education in Russia. Maybe it will be useful for you. Talking about the journalism, I think that the majority of universities, including Rulian University named after Patrice Lumumba, is trying to train a kind of a convergent or universal journalist who will be able to work in printed media, in broadcasting media, in digital media, because now everything is in digital, even if it is printed or broadcasting channel. And we are trying to give the students this opportunity to try themselves in different directions, then to find the appropriate way, where do they want to go and whom they want to become. And on the last stage of education at master's level, they have more detailed and more comprehensive approach in a very specific area. That's the first approach that is used in the universities. Another one is to give them all the opportunities to train different qualities of journalists at the very beginning, maybe on the first year of education. And then they will go to the TV journalism or to radio journalism or to online journalism. And I think that the common problem, the general problem both for Russian, African, and any other universities and professionals is that, of course, we're trying to prepare a good specialist, but still the technologies are too fast. The ways of changing formats and types of media are too fast, and it's practically impossible to train a very professional journalist from the university, because I think that during this stage, for us, the most important thing is to give them appropriate skills to work with the information, because it's a key question, it's the crucial thing. If you can work with information, if you can find necessary informational resources, if you are able to critical analyze what you have read or you have heard, in that case, you will be able to use any technology to deliver this information in a very accurate way to your target audience.
Okay, thank you very much for that. At least maybe one or two reactions. At least we understand how what Russian media education looks like and some other African countries. So, Daud?
Thank you very much. The Nigerian media education landscape is close to that a bit because used to be, let me put it that way, because we used to have a system where in the first year and second year, it's a general view. You do journalism, public relations, broadcasting, everything together. But by the third year, you have to specialize. But now, the mass communication study is being unbundled in Nigeria. That's why you see the dean that spoke the other time is heading a faculty of communication and media studies. That's the trend now. They are dividing the whole department into 9 programs. So right from the beginning, students can now specialize. But as I said the other time, it's still about the quality. But one thing that I've picked from the presentation of the professor from South Rural University, State University, was that I can say the media education in Russia is more pragmatic and futuristic, while ours is kind of retrogressive a bit.
It's still coming.
Yeah?
It's coming.
It's coming?
Come on.
Okay. Okay. That's why I say a bit. That's why I say a bit. Because, okay, let me say those that are making it retrogressive are the academics that are handling it. It might not be the curriculum because they are working seriously on the curriculum right now. But the people that are handling the courses, some are still using the same materials that they have been using for the past 20 years. So that is a serious problem. When the technological world is moving at a very fast rate, speed of light, and you are using the same materials you are using to take a course, from 20 years ago. It's a crazy situation.
Thank you very much.
Muslim.
Okay, less than 30 seconds because I have some questions and I want us to round up at exact time so we can rest because we're all tired. So the three of you want to, in case some of you are from, this last side and I did not, get to see your face, you can quickly interject in case I didn't see you. So if you want to contribute. All right, we'll manage it. So in 20 seconds.
Okay.
Yes, it's counting already. Now, let's go.
D'accord. Donc, dans le même contexte qu'a évoqué Madame Natalia, et pour essayer d'englober tout, pour trouver des solutions, qu'est-ce qu'on peut suggérer? Bon, je ne suis pas du domaine du journalisme, mais donc les suggestions vont être générales. Comment promouvoir ce que la Russie fait maintenant, entre parenthèses, en soft power russe? Par exemple, nous, on
regarding programs and software in Algeria, IT education is also political in a way. I was writing about Russia's foreign policy in the Middle East and in Africa. So why cannot our students study this model not in Algeria but in Russia? Maybe online, maybe offline. But I would like Russian specialists on external relations train our students with Russian foreign policy. And if at one Russian university people study external policy of Brazil or Algeria, I would like that a person from this country is the professor there. An Algerian person will teach about Algerian external policy, and vice versa, just to see things from the inside. So, and today it's quite easy to arrange. Thank you. I think that the military journalism is an important topic. Today, we all see what is happening in Ukraine. And the major weapon today is not techniques, but the word. So African journalists should study how to give the information from the place of the event to get the true and not the false information from the Western countries against Russia. We need to have our own journalists. Just where the events take place. And this is what I suggest doing, so that our journalists not just write newspaper articles or online articles, but be ready to highlight the events like the ones going on in Ukraine. Maybe it can be like this in future in Africa. There are also countries with military conflicts, and not to get only vision from one angle, but the one voiced by our African journalists. This is important.
Challenges. At least one or two solutions that this is what we have been doing. We just want to add on to it, and I've seen them doing it. I'm a researcher myself, and I do not research only on problems. I research existing solutions. I research where they need to add on to what they've been doing and where they need to learn from somewhere and what they need to start afresh. I think we tend to like to talk more about problems than looking forward to solutions. So at least someone should prepare your mind on one or two solutions. One, and let's round it up with solution while we're going. So quick one, please.
Alors, parlant de l'adaptation de la formation des journalistes, le contenu d'abord pour renchérir ou bien pour aller dans le sens du monsieur. Alors, il faut que les sujets qui sont abordés par les journalistes, c'est vrai que le journaliste est formé dans la technique de traitement de l'information, mais il est important que les sujets sur lesquels les journalistes interviennent, notamment la politique, notamment toutes les questions sociales, que des formations de spécialisation dans chaque domaine puissent être apportées afin que le journaliste, en parlant d'un sujet, sache exactement de quoi il parle et lorsque on essaie de le détourner du chemin de la vérité, il puisse, n'est-ce pas, répondre par le fait qu'il sait des choses et qu'il puisse, n'est-ce pas, rester dans cette vérité-là. Je crois que c'est une solution aussi. Également, dans le cas de l'université, l'institut où j'ai fait ma formation à Abidjan, ils ont également adapté au niveau des techniques, leur formation. J'ai fait ma formation à la base en radio et en ce moment, il y avait radio, télé, presse écrite. Aujourd'hui, j'y suis retourné pour faire une formation en JRI, média global. Donc, ça veut dire que la formation sur le plan technique évolue également, c'est une solution, mais aussi les sujets abordés, le journaliste doit chercher à, ou les universités doivent intégrer des formations sur les sujets spécifiques qui sont abordés afin d'être plus armés et éviter d'être floués. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you. Please.
Yeah, I want to speak about the challenges and the possible solutions to it. Now, the world is good, as the world has been going digital that we've talked about now. Now we realize that in all African countries, the social media where we get information to our citizens are the social media built by the West. Unlike what we have here, like we have Telegram, we have Viki, we have YouTube, where Russian cultures are primarily promoted. Now, the issue of gay and lesbian that is being promoted in Africa is coming from what our people are being fed with from the Western media. Now, the suggestion is that if we can have a kind of partnership with some IT specialists in Africa, where we build some local softwares or local social media platforms that will be dedicated to Africa to promote African news and African cultures, this will go a long way in solving some of these challenges. If we tackle it from the area of IT, we'll be handling the issue of news misinformation, disinformation, and then even cultural erosion. All of this will be tackled at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I can see that since I've already talked about solutions, someone has already initiated it. We will be sending tomorrow. We have a very not that long day tomorrow. That's number one. Number two, you will later see a link where we will share with you where you can give us some feedback and you can also provide some solution in them. Please do attend to them, and we promise that we are a university based on action, not just on paper. So we take things into place, we work on what we research on and what we discuss on. It's not about table or paper, it is about action after this. So thank you for your contribution, thank you for your time, and let's go for a 15-minute break, then we'll return for time to study in Russia. That is the last part. All right.
We promise.
Thank you very much. Go for coffee break.